All right, this is probably the Algebra 2 lesson that students struggle with the most. So we are going to go slowly and talk about how to find an equation of a line. We are in Chapter 3, Section 4. Our essential question is, can you find the equation of a line? Now, first of all, let's review. We have y equals mx plus b, which is the slope-intercept form. This is great if you have a slope and an intercept. We have the point slope form, which is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Obviously, this is great if you have a point and a slope. In our standard form, ax plus by equals c, we will not use as much as we will these two. So for building, creating, making a line, we want to go ahead and use those two, slope-intercept and point-slope form. So our first question says, find an equation in standard form. So we still have to know what standard form is. That's this guy right here. All right, it says it's going through 2 points, negative 3, 5, and negative 6, 4. The first thing we want to do is find the slope. So I'm writing the equation for slope up in orange, and let's go ahead and plug in numbers. 4 minus 5, negative 6 minus a negative 3. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 1. So the slope of this is 3. Now, I would probably, let's use point slope form first, okay? Because I want to show you guys how easy this is and how quickly this works. I'm going to pick any point. It doesn't matter which one I use. I'm just using this one because it's closest to where I'm writing. I also know the slope is 1/3. So if I plug in y sub 1, we need the y as the y, and we need the number 4 as y sub 1. My slope is 1/3. We're going to use x as x, and we're going to use minus a negative 6, which would be a plus, as my x sub 1. So notice the only ones that we're putting numbers in for are the x sub 1 and the y sub 1. From here we can distribute 1/3 x. 1/3 of 6 is 2. And we can add that 4 over. Well, as you can see, I just put it in not standard form. I put it in slope-intercept form. Are they asking us for slope-intercept form? No. They're asking us to put it in standard form. So I'm kind of all over the place with this. I don't know how that happened. Sorry about that. So in order to put it in standard form, we want it to look like ax plus by equals c. So I need to get this guy over by subtracting. One thing that you for sure need to know is that standard form, the a cannot be negative nor a fraction. So it can't be negative. Well, guess what? This is both of those. So I'm going to take and multiply everything through by negative 3. And when I do that, I rid of that fraction and that negative. Negative 3 times negative 1/3 is just 1x or x. Negative 3 times y is negative 3y. And negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. This is what we were looking for in standard form. All right, let me get this guy off to the side. And let's go ahead and look at another. The next one I'm going to do a little different. It says it's going through 4, 3 with a slope of 2. I'm going to go ahead and use y equals mx plus b, because why not, right? Well, I know that the y is 3, my m is 2, my x is 4, and we do not know the b. So I'm going to blow this guy up. I am now solving only for b. In this case, I know this is 3 equals 8 plus b. So b, when I subtract the 8 over, is equal to -5. Is that my answer? No. My answer, we have to plug it back in, y equals 2x minus 5. But we have a problem because remember they asked us for it in standard form. Well, standard form is not this form. So I have to go ahead and subtract the 2x over. When I subtract 2x over, I get -2x plus y equals -5. And remember, this a term cannot be negative or a fraction. Well, it's not a fraction, but we do have to multiply everything through by -1. And we get 2x minus y equals +5. Standard form. All right, moving on. The last one I'm going to go over, not the last, the next one that I'm going to go over is this one's asking us for a y-intercept of -4 with a slope of 1/2. Well, the first thing we have to know is what is the y-intercept. Remember, the y-intercept is when x is 0. The slope is 1/2. Well, since that x is 0, I'm going to plug it back into y equals mx plus b because that's going to make my life super easy because the y is -4. The m is 1/2, but because of that 0, it's going to be canceled out. And b is equal to -4. Now remember, that wasn't my answer. We're going to put it back into slope-intercept form. Y equals 1/2 x minus 4. And then we're going to put it into standard form, which is that ax plus by equals c. In order to do that, I want to get the 1/2 over, so I'm going to subtract 1/2 x to each side. Bringing that over. And now I have to multiply everything through by -2. I'm going to multiply this, this, and this. So my final answer is x minus 2y equals 8. Alrighty, the next thing we're going to talk about is parallel and perpendicular lines. A parallel slope, I'm going to write this over here. Parallel. A parallel slope is going to be the exact same number. A perpendicular slope is going to be the negative, or the opposite, reciprocal. Something that you should remember, we did it a little bit in Algebra 1, and we're going to do it a lot in Algebra 2. So let's look at the first one. The only reason they give you this equation. So sometimes they make the equation look really hard. Don't fall for that. This equation, all you need is the slope. Sometimes you have to solve for y to find the slope. But in this case, notice the slope is 3. So now you have a point and a slope. I'm going to use the point slope form again just because I haven't used it much. Y minus, well, the only y I have is 10, is equal to, my slope is 3, x minus 5. And let's go ahead and distribute. Y minus 10 is equal to 3x minus 15. And when I bring the 10 over, y equals mx, add the 10, minus 5. Is that what they're asking for? Nope. They're asking it for standard form. So standard form is ax plus by. So I got to get this guy over, and I'm going to subtract the 3x to get it over. And I can't have that a be a negative or a fraction, so I'm going to multiply everything through by -1, and I get 3x minus y equals 5. So a parallel slope has the exact same slope, but a perpendicular slope does not. So this one says that it's perpendicular to this right here. Well, that is not solved for y. So the first thing I'm going to do is solve that for y. So if I have y plus 2x equals 6, I'm going to subtract 2x to each side. My slope in this case is -2. That is my slope for this line. But remember, they're asking us for a perpendicular slope. So the perpendicular slope will be the flip of that, and the negative reciprocal. Well, this is already negative, so it will be positive. Now, it's also telling us that it has a y-intercept of 3. Remember, the y-intercept is when x is 0. All right, so let's plug it in. It is the y-intercept. So since the y-intercept is 3, we know that y equals m, which is the slope, x, plus b, which is the y-intercept. So this would probably be the easiest. We use this one a lot, but it's easier. Is that in standard form? No. We have to subtract this 1/2 over. -1/2 x plus y equals 3. Is it solved for yet? No. A cannot be negative, nor can it be a fraction. So I'm going to multiply all 3 terms by -2. X minus 2y equals -6 is the standard form of the line that's perpendicular to y plus 2x equals 6 and passes through the y-intercept at 3.